Hey there, future mount owners, to the one and only guide you will need to beat Diamond Weapon Extreme. Sit back and relax, and let me take you through all the mechanics and strategies to use to the shiny new mounts. Before starting the fight, you need to divide your party into groups of 4 players, 1 tank, 1 healer, and 2 DPS in each group. Group 1 will start on the west/blue ship at the beginning of the fight, and Group 2 will move to the east/red ship the moment it shows up. Once on your assigned ship, tanks will move to the north of these ships and everyone else towards the south part of the ship. This is because the boss has 2 line out attacks that hit 2 players with the biggest MT, aka the tanks, at once, and everyone else is around them, so if you happen to be around the tanks, you will be taking damage too. The first attack Diamond Weapon will do is called Diamond Rain, which is a raid-wide AoE attack that inflicts magic vulnerability up, and it scales with the amount of people you have on one ship. This is the main reason why we're dividing the parties in 2. This attack will do moderate damage for 4 people on one ship, which is very survivable. 5 or more, the DPSs will not live unless they're shielded. 8 or more, and it's just a wipe. The next attack, Aim and Purge, is an indicator of the boss preparing to launch a hard-hitting attack and a follow-up. Don't panic though, cause there is more than enough time to prepare for it. Unlike the normal version, this time Diamond Weapon will not tell you what the attack is, so you will have to look at visual indicators and text indicators to figure out what attack is going to come. The first indicator to look for are 2 jet flares on the side of the boss that look like this. If you see this, the boss is going to do a sweep attack on your ship that will send you flying if you do not dodge it. To avoid this, you simply take the teleport to our ship. There can be 3 possible follow-up attacks after a sweep attack. If a cannon comes out of the chest with the tags opening chest armor, this is the indicator for the stack line AoE. For this attack, everyone in the party will stack in the line around the middle area of the ship before rotating ships. The second follow-up attack you may encounter will come if the boss opens his shoulder areas like this and says deploying beam units in text. This attack is a small AoE attack that hits everyone in the party and inflicts magic vulnerability up. To deal with this attack, everyone in the party will spread around the ship. Middle DPS and tank will be around the boss, while range and healers will spread away from the boss. Taking more than one of these AoE hits will kill anyone but the tanks. Do not worry though, the AoE is not that big, and once the AoE attack happens, your group will rotate ships. The third attack that can happen is after a sweep, the boss will not open his chest nor his shoulders. When this happens, the follow-up attack that will happen next is Diamond Rain, the raid-wide AoE attack at the beginning. To deal with this attack, the groups will rotate as soon as the sweep ends. This is also a decent time to mention that whenever you teleport, you will get a debuff that makes you unable to teleport again like the normal version. The main difference is that in Extreme, this debuff lasts 20 seconds. This forces us to time our teleports to avoid mechanics a little bit better. For all these attacks, the groups that need to switch sides will not have enough time to get back to the original ships since the teleport debuff is longer than the attacks. To deal with this, the 2 groups will be alternating ships with each attack. For example, if blue ship needs to go to the red ship to avoid the sweep, the red ship group will take the teleport to the blue ship once the mechanics are dealt with, and vice versa if red group needs to dodge the sweep. We will be doing this throughout the entirety of Phase 1. After the first attack of Aim and Purge, the boss will drop a flare marker on both of the tanks. Both the tanks will need to take this towards the north and try to keep them as far away from each other as possible. Also note, the tanks do need at least 1 cooldown to live this attack since it is hard-hitting. After 3 attacks of Aim and Purge, Diamond Weapon will start to phase change. Once you see this line of text, the boss will not be attackable in around 10 seconds. So consider either saving your hard-hitting DPS moves if they're going to take too long, or if you have the time, use them right now. After the boss becomes unattackable, he will spawn claws with tethers and a blue knockback marker. If you have the dark purple line, what you're going to do is you're going to stand right before the blue marker like this. If you have the bright pink tether, you will stand on the side of the blue marker towards the other ship like this, so the knockback will send you flying towards the other ship. After the claws hit the party, Diamond Weapon will knock down one of the ships just like a normal version, take the teleport towards the safe ship immediately. And with this, congratulations! You have made it past Phase 1 and onto Phase 2. Phase 2 only needs 1 tank instead of 2, so the off tank can turn off his tank stance here if he prefers. Once the boss lands, he will start casting Outrage, which is a raid-wide AoE attack twice in a row that does moderate damage, so make sure your party is healed up for this. After casting Outrage twice, the boss will cast Aoe Arts, which is a zigzag attack that hits anything in the boss's way along with a slight knockback and its vulnerability stack, so we want to avoid this. To dodge this, go to the opposite side where the boss is facing and a little bit towards the side, like this. To my knowledge, this is the easiest spot to dodge the zigzag attack and will still be melee range for your sweep uptime. After the zigzag attack, the boss will jump up in the middle and look towards either north or south. Look the way the boss is facing to find an orb. To dash this move towards the side of the orb. So for example, if the orb is towards the right, you move towards the left. And vice versa if the orb is on the left. When the boss lands, he will cast Outrage, followed up by Tank Buster. This Tank Buster has a small AoE range, so tanks will angle this away from the party. Once the main tank gets hit by the Tank Buster, he will have the debuff that will need a tank swap. So off tank, turn on your tank stance again. After the tank swap, land weapon will hop onto an orb again, prepared to do either a knockback slam attack or a dash knockback attack followed by a slam knockback. For this part, look towards the direction the boss is facing. If there is no orb in the direction he's facing like this, it means stay near the boss. If there is an orb where the boss is facing like this, you want to head towards that orb and stay on the sides to avoid the dash knockback attack. Once the boss finishes his slam attack, he will start to cast Vertical Cleave with a big slam knockback AoE with moderate damage. To avoid this attack, look for the orb in the middle of the platform. It has a faint light to indicate where the boss is going to slam into specifically. You will want to angle yourself diagonally towards the furthest corner on the chip to avoid getting knocked off. After this part, the boss will repeat mechanics with some few extras. After casting Outrage once, the boss will summon claws that act as laser weapons, and prepare to do the zigzag attack again. The lasers aren't one-shot kills, but they do leave you with vulnerability stacks, plus they do a lot of damage, so you want to do your best to avoid them. This part can be a bit tricky to do since now the lasers may make some safe areas not usable. If the safe area behind the boss isn't being targeted by lasers, just use that place like last time, it'll be safe. If the old safe area isn't safe this time, you're gonna head towards the side of where the boss is facing. As an example, here's the boss looking towards the south, so you're gonna head towards this spot on the north. To make it a bit more easy to figure out where the spot is, use the teleporters as a reference on where to stand. And if your safe spot is on the other side of the ship, just stand in the line where the teleporter will be. This is one of the hardest mechanics, so don't feel bad if it takes a few tries to get down. Just remember the teleporters are your friends here. Use them as your indicators. After the zigzag attack, the boss will hop onto the orb again, and you'll need to find which side of the platform is safe to stand on, just like last time. Just keep in mind, the lasers are still there and will still fire at you, so don't forget about them. After a few repeat mechanics, the boss will hop onto the orb and prepare his slam knockback AoE, this time with lasers. The mechanics is the same as last time, just be mindful of lasers. Also, arm snakes / shortcasts are recommended here since the lasers can make it a bit hard to angle yourself towards the knockback. After one last outrage, Titan Weapon will overheat, forcing it to go back to its original form, meaning phase 2 is done. Congrats, Speech Mount owner. After the damaged airship comes back from repairs, the boss will start casting Flutter Ray. If you have done T Ultimate, this should be easy for you. If not, don't worry, I'll break it down for you guys. You will get a number above your head at the beginning of the cast that can range from 1 to 8. Even numbers will be red and odd numbers will be blue. Blue numbers will head towards the blue airship and red numbers will head towards the red airship. The way this will work is that the lower numbers will head towards the respective corners first to take the huge cone AoE attack and then swapping with their higher numbers. Since the cone is so big, you need to be right at the corner of the ship or else you could risk hitting someone else by accident. I'll be around this map for reference on where you meant to go for your cone AoE. As you can see, the middle area will be the safe area, so if you have either one of the higher numbers or if you already took your cone AoE, you will go to the middle area to be safe. As an example, let's say you're number 5, you'll wait for number 1 to get hit by his cone AoE. As soon as number 1 gets hit, number 1 will rotate over towards the middle area of the ship while number 5 goes towards that corner and wait for his AoE to come. Don't feel bad if this one takes a few tries to get down, as it is the hardest mechanics to learn for the Titan Weapon, but once you learn it, the fight is nearly done. After Flood Ray is done, you have some time before the next mechanic, so I recommend using this time to reposition your team. Go back to your ship you originally started the fight on, and don't worry about the teleport debuff, you have enough time. After repositioning yourself, you're back to the phase 1 step of having the two groups divided into the two ships. And the boss will start repeating mechanics with a few extra lasers this time. Also, you do not get a text indicator this time of what skill is going to come next, so now you have to look. To avoid the lasers on the M and perch, go to the side of your ship that has no laser hands, and wait for the lasers to fire on the other ship, and then take the teleport to do the mechanics. After the first M and perch, you will have the last mechanic to learn for this entire trial, which is a follow AoE attack. To deal with this attack, bring the follow AoEs down to the side of the chip that has the lasers and have all your party stack them all together kinda away from the teleporter. This will make the follow AoEs follow you through the middle area, effectively making them unable to hit you unless you get really close to the middle. After the follow AoE ends, you will have to dodge one more set of lasers and then you'll have towers to stand under. You'll need to have at least one player under them to avoid lots of damage and vulnerability stacks. They don't hurt at all, so don't worry about it, a squishy DPS player, you'll be fine. After the towers, tanks will have another flare marker to take towards the north end of the chip and make sure nobody gets hit by it. After the flare markers come down, there's another set of AM and Purge, followed by another Diamond Rain. After this, there will come a second Flood Ray again, so get into the correct chips and don't worry about teleporting, cause same as before, you have more than enough time to reposition yourself after it ends. After the second Flood Ray, down weapon will start doing another set of flare markers, AM and Purge, and Diamond Rain. This is the indicator that you're close to enrage because the third Flood Ray is the enrage that will kill you instantly. Also, enrage timer is about 12 minutes. And congrats, Future Man owner, you have cleared down Weapon Extreme. I hope you have found this guide really helpful, and hope RNG doesn't make you run this trial 99 times.